So I was born in Colombia, South America, right? I moved to the States when I was 18. I got here not knowing any English, not knowing nobody, not knowing anything. I just got here and I started learning the language. I started learning about real estate. I started getting to know more people and trying to get to build a foundation for success. Because I'm passionate about land development and I'm passionate to help people. To me, like once you're committed to your success, once you're committed to like, I want to be this one person, whether it is spiritually, whether it is financially, whatever thing that you have in your mind and you're committed to it, you will get there.
Welcome guys to another episode of Making Feria. My name is Chris Medina and I'm an entrepreneur. I got my very good friend Anderson Develops. Thank you so much, brother, for coming in.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you taking the time. This guy comes all the way from Florida. I tell him, just move out here, bro. He's here every month. But
yeah, this is my third time in California in the last month.
Just stay at my house, dog. So anyways, introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Anderson. I'm a land developer. You can find me in social media as Anderson Develops because that's my name and that's what I do. Anderson Develops. All social media. What I do is I find pieces of land, residential pieces of land, and I develop them into like multiple units, multiple houses. And we do that throughout the United States, multiple states that we are actually operating from right now.
All states or just a few?
No. We do a few. We do Washington State. We do Idaho, Oregon, Texas, Georgia, and now Florida.
Perfect. Yeah. So just to give them a little bit more in depth, so you help people who buy big pieces of land. We're talking 50, 100 acres, because we all think, we can buy a land and just build, but that's not the way it works. Yeah. We have to go to the city. You have to do the parcels. Give us a little detail.
Yeah, so we do the entire, basically that's called an entitlement. And we don't do like single lots. We do 5+ acres. So we do like residential subdivisions. Like we do 40+ houses pretty much. There were 20+ houses. Every time we're doing a subdivision, it's always multiple houses. And so what we do is we go to the city, we get all the permits, sometimes to the county, because it depends if you're in the city limits or in the county limits. But we get all the permits to build houses. Yeah. Sometimes apartments, sometimes like mixed use, meaning like residential and commercial. Yeah. But most of the time is just residential, either low density or higher density. We get it approved with the city, and then from there we go and we either build the roads, the subdivision, the entire utilities, everything that we have to do, or we sell to a builder that wants to do the development.
Awesome.
But that's what we do, the entire approval. And this is basically a model that a lot of people don't know about. A lot of people doing real estate. If you're doing real estate and you don't know about this model, it's very unique. A lot of people are not talking about this because not many people do it, but there is a lot of money in doing it.
Definitely. It's definitely a niche. I've never heard anybody else that does land development or even like the stuff that I do. I'm a hearing aid specialist. I have yet to come across another hearing aid specialist. But here's a quick question. So what do you do and how do you get, well, you already told us how you do it, but how did you get started as an entrepreneur in this industry, land development?
I was very blessed I was 22 at a time. That was about 7 years ago. I'm 29 right now. I was very blessed to find someone that was doing the land development stuff. So I was, younger at the time and I wanted to get into land development, and I found someone that he became after my mentor. So he was basically my mentor on land development deals, and he was kind of like guiding me on the process. And then he went from being my mentor to now being my business partner. So now we're doing deals, land development deals in multiple states, and I'm doing it with him now. He's got many years of experience. Like he's done it for decades. Yeah. Even when I met him. So now it's been like even more time that he's done multiple subdivisions. So it was like I was blessed just to get to basically know someone that was already doing it, and that is why it is important to have mentors. Because when you have a mentor, you pretty much, even if you don't know what you're doing, someone is going to guide you in the process. And then it's just on you to also basically give back to that person. Like don't just waste their time and their knowledge, but also bring back to them.
Bring back value.
Yes, 100%. So I got started by pretty much working with someone that had the knowledge and had done it for so much time. And now we are doing it together. We're developing land together.
Excellent. So yeah, guys, it's super critical that you go network. And if it's possible, get a job in the space where you're trying to learn. And then eventually, once you learn the skills, you can go do your own thing, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more of your story, because it's super amazing. You weren't born here in the U.S., right? Yeah. Do you mind speaking a little bit about that? Tell us a little bit more in depth, because you were going country, and then you get U.S. and
Yeah.
and successful now. So tell us just a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah. So I was born in Colombia, South America, right? Colombia, I was born there. I moved to the States when I was 18. I got here not knowing any English, not knowing nobody. Like, I got here just literally like not knowing anything.
That's amazing.
I
That's
just
good.
got here, and,
Yeah.
and I started learning the language. I started like, learning about real estate. I started getting to know more people and trying to get to, build a, foundation for success. I didn't get here to just have fun and party and do all this craziness. I was like strict to like I want to be successful in the next 10 years.
Laser
Fast
focused.
forward, yeah, fast forward to now. It's been about 11 years, and now we're doing all these subdivisions, all of these new construction houses, all of these stuff that we're doing, because everything has to do with like how you put the focus on your mind. Like you want to accomplish that, right?
Yeah.
What is
Mindset.
yeah, what the mindset. So yeah, but before getting to the U.S., I lived 1 year, almost 1 year in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So it was like a transition. But yeah, I was born and raised in Colombia. Like I said, I moved to the States about 18 when I was 18 years old, and I got to work, man.
Amazing,
I got to
amazing, man.
work.
I salute this guy. This guy's been grinding. So there's just no excuse, man. If you were born here in the US, like guys, get your shit together. That's just the real shit. That's what's real. Like you guys have no excuses. Like you guys have just been spoiled rotten. That's just the freaking truth. So if you want to make money, you guys got to start, networking, hang out with people that are in your industry or business people that will guide you in the right direction, right?
A
You agree
hundred
with
percent,
that?
100%. And I noticed that. By the way, I built a guide that I'm sharing it with people. It's free, and it took me years to build it. It's called Six Steps to Seven Figures. So the 6 steps that I followed since day one that made me 7 figures. So if you want to get it, maybe we put a link in the
We'll
description
put a link. Yeah, yeah, that's
so
awesome.
so
That's
people
amazing.
can get it. But I was gonna say that to say that we when I moved to the States, I noticed that a lot of people who were born and raised here were not taking advantage of all of the opportunities that were here. Like this is the
Correct.
land of opportunities still. Like there's
Definitely.
still so many opportunities out there,
Mhm.
and people are not seeing them or are not going after them, even though they're pretty much in front of them.
Yeah.
So people that come from other countries, whether they come however they come, but when they see the opportunities, they know that there is stuff that they couldn't find in their countries, and if they're hard workers like myself, they will go after that, and if they have the right mindset. So
Definitely.
just make sure that you are seeing what other people are not seeing. Like go after the stuff that's in the US, as far as like opportunities, build a business, go after your dreams, do whatever it takes, and make sure that you're following your journey and your goals, and you'll succeed.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you got to take the first step, which is start, because a lot of people don't even start.
Yep.
And then just commit, network, learn, and keep pushing forward. And eventually, you're going to bump into success. And, right?
Yeah, sooner than later. Sooner than
Sooner or
later.
later,
It's,
definitely.
it's gonna be a matter of just like you said, mindset. Just
Mindset.
make sure that you put it here, know where you're going, know your destination. It's like when you go in a car. When you're gonna
Hmm.
drive to a place, you need to know where you're going. Otherwise, you're just gonna be driving left and right. You're
Correct.
gonna be taking exits that you don't need to take. So make sure that you have a destination on your GPS. Make sure that you put it in life. You have to have a GPS. You have to know where you're going, and then just follow that journey. The fastest route, follow that the GPS is telling you in life. It can be through a mentor, or it can be through like your own personal goals. Like I want to get to be this person, then follow that journey. You know where you're going. So
Excellent. Next question here. So, what were some challenges that you had to overcome early as an entrepreneur? You say you got here in the U.S. You were 18, nothing, no English. You had to learn English, man. That's tough. That's tough.
yeah,
But
big
tell
time.
us, tell us a little bit about what were the challenges.
Well, definitely, you just said one of them. The language was a big one. As an 18-year-old person, you pretty much know one language, and it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be challenging. It's not like when you're 6, when you're 7, when you're 4, or when you're 2. Like
Definitely.
it's like starting from scratch on something that's you've been 18 years, you know, speaking and communicating in a different language. So that was one of them. But once again, commitment, dedication, hard work, you can get it. Another one was understanding business. And that's one that all of us might be facing. And it's something that's pretty much consistent. You have to always learn new stuff. You have to always learn what is the new tax advantages on doing business. What's the new business opportunities? What's the new regulations? What's the new way of doing operations in your business? What's the new assistance? Everything that has to do with business, and managing a team or managing sales or all of that is very important. Whether you're starting or you're like a 10-year, 20-year business owner, you have to consistently learn and relearn about business. So
Yeah.
that was initially one of my biggest, I was pretty young when I started my business, so I was still kind of like learning about life and learning about business. And learning English. I was
Yeah.
learning
Yeah.
everything.
Learning
I
everything.
was going to college as well at the time, so I was like learning in
Yeah.
my
And
twenties, early
adapting.
20s.
The big word there is
Oh,
adapt.
bro.
You have to adapt.
So it's funny that you just said it. So in the 6 steps to 7 figures,
Yeah.
you will see the number five is adapt. You have to adapt to whatever, because a lot of people went out of business on COVID,
Yeah.
and a
Oh
lot
yeah.
of people made a lot of money through COVID.
Yeah.
What was the difference between the two?
The one adapted to the
Yep,
current situation.
yep. Some restaurants went like, okay, people cannot come to my restaurant, then let's go, let's do a different model. So you have to adapt, you
Correct.
have to pivot.
Yeah. One time I went to a Korean barbecue. They took out all their grilling things outside with tents just to be able to operate. Like that's freaking insane. Korean barbecue outside, outdoors, in a
Wow.
tent,
Through COVID?
like through COVID.
Yeah.
Like that's called adapting.
Yep.
Adapting. And
Yep.
then you have to keep learning, like you said, learning, get a mentor, go to conferences, and stay fresh and everything.
Yep, 100%. Getting a mentor is another of the 6 steps. So it sounds like you got it.
I'm
Yeah,
doing something right.
you're definitely doing something right. So 6 steps to 7 figures is literally the guide that I followed throughout years. And then I said, when I was like 22, 23, I said if I ever make it financially, I want to share this with people, and I want to do it like humbly, and I want to do it for free because I want to help people. And now I
That's right.
mentor people as well for a profit because it will be taking a lot of my time. But the guide that I built is free and you can get it. So
Yeah. So we'll get you guys that guide. Okay, cool. Now, what are some keys to your success? Like things that you want to point out that just scaled you a little bit faster or whatever,
yeah,
right?
commitment, dedication, hard work. To me, like
Yeah.
once you're committed to your success, once you're committed to like I want to be this one person, whether it is spiritually, whether it is in financially, like I want to be a billionaire.
Yeah.
Whatever thing that you have in your mind and you're committed to it, you will get there. Like it's like law of attraction.
Yeah.
You will sooner than later start like bringing these positive things, these positive energies, these positive good stuff in people as well to
Mhm.
your life that then is going to help you get there. So commitment,
Commitment.
dedication as well. Like you have to be dedicated. You have to be if you're saying I'm going to wake up early every morning, just make sure that you're dedicated to doing it. And hard work. You have to work hard. You have to pretty much outwork the competition.
Yeah. You guys got to learn, but you also have to implement the stuff that you learn because anybody can go to conferences, pay a ticket, be there all day long,
Yeah,
but you need to start applying the stuff that you learn. So
a hundred
that's
percent.
also super critical.
Yeah, very, very well said. Like it's very, very important to have that as well.
Okay,
Hmm.
perfect. Now, what advice would you give for aspiring entrepreneurs? That's basically like new people, new entrepreneurs are trying to open their business or they're just getting started in opening their business. Is there
Hmm.
any advice you would give to them?
Well, this is something I learned early in my career. I was getting advice from too many people, and it's funny, but some mentors or some people were telling me don't do this, and the same thing that they were telling me not to, other people were telling me do it. Like some people were telling me save money, and some others were telling me don't save money, spend it, like invest it,
Invest it.
right?
Yeah.
So you have to pick who you listen to, and
Yeah.
that's very important. As a new entrepreneur, you have to pick who you're listening to, and the reason why I'm saying that is you might be listening to Grant Cardone that's saying buy, invest, buy rentals, buy properties, multifamily, or you might be hearing other people that say don't pay all your debt, pay all your like
Like
Dave Ramsey,
Dave's Ramsey or
Ramsey,
something? Yeah.
so just pick who you want to be like. Are
Yeah.
you prospecting to be more of a Grant Cardone person that has a lot of investments, or you want to live a life that's like less debt, like no liabilities, no expenses? You can wake up every day and not think about, oh, I have to pay this, I have to pay that. Whereas in the other hand, you have Grant Cardone that has all these loans per se,
Yeah.
but he's got tenants that pay the loan. So you know what I'm saying? Like it's just what makes you feel more comfortable as a
Yeah.
future self. What I was saying earlier about like pick who you want to be in 10, 20, 40 years. Follow that journey, like the GPS that I was saying,
Yeah.
and then just make sure that you are listening to that person that's already ahead, that's already
Definitely.
like there where you want to be. So
Definitely,
that's
bro.
that's that's an advice that I'll give to young entrepreneurs.
Awesome. Well said. Well said. Yeah, he's Right on point. So first you got to find out what kind of lifestyle it is that you want, and then find a mentor that has that lifestyle, and then get coaching from that mentor. I mean, you can have one, maybe two, but like you said, once you start getting into a lot of mentors, then they're going to start conflicting each other.
Yeah.
But you can read books. You can read a lot of different
Yeah.
books. Pick out the gold nuggets that fit what you want to do. But definitely get that one mentor. For me, in the beginning, it was Grant Cardone. I bought his 10x
Oh, you did.
10x University. I
Nice.
got lifetime access. I paid 10 grand for that program, and it has definitely
Wow.
paid off. But
Right.
now, even me and Anderson, we get coaching from Albert Preciado because, I like him because he's local here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can
He's a
go
great guy.
talk to him. He's here.
He's Hispanic.
He's Hispanic. He
Okay.
actually grew up where I grew up here in LA,
No
which is
way.
right here in Echo Park.
No
So we
way.
might have to take a little trip there. But
Yeah.
he grew up in the neighborhood. He has the similar life story as I did coming up. So that's why I
Wow.
I really love him. I love what he did, like what he's done.
Right.
He's got a nice house in Bel Air. He's got the cars, the
Yeah.
family, the lifestyle that I want. So that's why I picked him to be definitely one of my top
Shout out
mentors.
to Albert if he's watching this.
Shout out to
He's doing
my.
amazing, and he's an inspiration to other Hispanics.
Oh
Honestly,
yeah,
I flew from literally from Florida to this podcast and to his mastermind tomorrow. So
definitely.
it's amazing to be around other Hispanics that are doing amazing like yourself and like
Yeah,
Albert.
yeah, definitely. Shout out to AP. Let's
Let's
just call
go.
himself AP.
AP, AP.
All right, cool, man, cool. So, last but not least, what is the craziest thing you've done in business? Like, what's the biggest risk or whatever you would define as crazy in business?
Bro, honestly, oof, I've done many things.
Hey, give
I
us one
have,
or two.
bro, I have invested money where there is like everybody's telling me like, don't do it, like it's so risky, like
Yeah,
oh, but I guess the biggest one, which was a risk, not necessarily with money, but with with a lot of unknowns,
yeah,
was moving to Florida. And
yeah,
now that I'm thinking, like I'm thinking of many projects where I invested like a lot of money, and people are telling me like you're crazy, you're buying that property, or you're buying that land, or you're buying like that. And I
hmm
was like, yeah, because this, and I would show them like, hey, look, this, and that. But
yeah,
they would go like, well, if you do, and then it ended up being great projects.
yeah,
But moving to Florida, I'm thinking about that right now as you were saying that, because I was doing in Washington State, I was at the time doing it was my like I was doing the best.
yeah.
Throughout my like previous years in Washington, it was like my best year. So people are telling me you're moving to another state to start from zero, to do all of this stuff from zero, and you're like at your best moment in Washington State. I'm like, yes, because I'm not moving, I'm expanding.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So now, fast forward 3 more years, because I've been living in Florida 3 years. Now we're doing awesome in Florida, and we're doing awesome in Washington.
Yeah.
So it was very
Okay.
risky because what if I move to Florida and then I lose all the stuff that I'm doing in Washington, and
hmm
then I don't accomplish anything because I'm new guy in
In
Florida.
Florida.
So
Yeah.
that was a huge risk.
That's good. See, but that's another, a good example of once you have the knowledge, you can implement it anywhere. Once you learn sales, once you learn your niche, you can apply it wherever you
Yeah.
go. So nobody can take that away from you.
And you know what, Chris? You also have to be passionate about what you do. Because I'm
hmm
passionate about land development, and I'm passionate
Definitely.
to help people as well. So that's the reason why I said if I ever make it, I want to provide guides or mentorship to people that want to do the same thing that I'm doing or better. Like if
hmm
they even if they don't want to do land development specifically, they can at least learn from me on the business side, on the financial side, on the real estate side, like all the stuff that I have done as a young entrepreneur. I'm still in my 20s right now.
Yeah, yeah, that's
So
amazing,
so I'm
man.
still in my 20s, and there is like a lot of people that already follow me for the success that we have had,
Yeah,
and for all the great things that all the subdivision. We built like entire neighborhoods. Like we don't do like
yeah,
one house at a time. We
yeah.
do
This
like
is
entire neighborhoods.
big land developments here.
So with that being said, I will say moving to Florida was one of the things that I said we need to move because I knew post COVID, it was through COVID, but I knew post COVID was gonna be a huge thing to work from home. I
hmm
started noticing that early in COVID
Yeah,
season. I started noticing that everybody was like adapting to
correct.
the working from home, and I said, wait a second. So there's people in New York, in California, in Washington that can work from home anywhere in the U.S. or anywhere in the world,
Yeah,
and will still be making a lot of money by working in a company that's based in New York.
hmm
So I said, that means that people will continue to work in New York, in California, and Washington, but would
correct.
like to move to South states
Yeah,
like Texas, Florida, Georgia. And I said, that means that there's going to be a ton of people moving to these states. That
Mm-hmm.
means that there's going to be a need of housing, and hence I'm a developer.
Yeah.
So I said, as a developer myself, I feel like I need to be in those states rather
Yeah.
than being in Washington. That was through COVID.
Yeah.
That's when I decided, wait a second, I'm gonna be expanding, not moving, but expanding to
Yeah.
Florida. And we took that decision, and it was accurate. Honestly,
Awesome.
in average, about 1,200 people move to Florida every single day.
Definitely.
So
Okay.
it's like so many people are moving to Florida, and as well as Texas, that someone needs to be developing. And there are developers out there, but
Yeah.
there is more need than developers
Yeah,
for the
there's a
market.
big market, right?
100%.
Yeah.
So that was a very accurate decision that we took, and once again, it was very risky. It was a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
thing.
that was a big. That's wild. I mean, just moving to the U.S. is a crazy thing because even that was for your entrepreneurship. You know, like I gotta leave here to go here to be successful,
Yeah.
or just provide for my family, right?
Yes, yes, but I'm happy we did it, and now we're working, multiple subdivisions in Florida, in other states like Texas. We're analyzing land, Georgia, and we're still working in Washington, Idaho, and Oregon. So we're still pretty
So
busy.
nationwide, yeah. So yeah, and then once you're a professional in your field, you're gonna start noticing these trends. And Anderson found that trend. He's like, you know what? There's gonna be opportunity over
Yeah,
there. Let's take it. Let's do it and rock and roll and just commit. Once you commit and there's no plan B, you're just gonna be successful because you're just gonna work so hard at it, and there's no failing. That's not even in your mind. You're just like, I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get it done, and no matter what it takes, right?
yeah, and failure is some people will see things as failure. You have to see them as lessons learned.
Yeah.
If you learn something from failure that you're not gonna do it again, you're not gonna repeat that same process or that same stuff that make you fail.
Yeah.
Then you didn't fail. You learn.
You learn.
Like
Yeah.
you pay to go to school, and sometimes you pay to learn.
Yeah.
to learn in like real life,
You
right?
have
Like
to, yeah.
you lose some money, you lose some stuff, but you're really like learning. So don't see things as failing, even if like things are not going right now your way, businesses are not going your way. Just look at what can you learn from that kind of like decision or that step that you're going through, and learn from that and improve it next time. You will become a better person, a better business owner, and business is gonna skyrocket.
Definitely learn from your mistakes. Tell the people where they can find you, your social media handles, any contact information. I know you got your Avanza conference.
Yes.
You know what? I'm going to commit. I'm going. I'm
Let's
telling
go.
you right now
It's a
on
camera.
video. I am going to Avanza. And if he gives me opportunity to be on stage, then
Of course,
even
bro.
that too.
Why not?
So,
Why not? It's gonna be over 400 people. It's an amazing event. It's gonna be happening in Orlando, and you can go to Orlando and make it a tax deductible item. So that's a good thing because you know what, Orlando has so much to offer. Orlando, Florida. So it's going to be next year, April 6th, and I say 2024 because maybe they're watching this in 2024, so they're gonna think it's 2025.
yeah.
Next year, as of 2024, April 6th. It's going to be in Orlando, and like I said, we're gonna have some of the best speakers about real estate, credit repairs. In real estate, there's gonna be people about talking about land development, about flipping, about how to maximize your investments, how to do Airbnbs. And additionally to real estate, we're gonna have financial advisors, credit repairs, CPA. There's gonna be so much value. It's a full day event, and you guys want to be there for sure.
Definitely.
The You can put the link in the description for
Yeah, we're
getting
going to
the
put the
tickets.
link for the guide. He's also going to give you guys the free guide to seven figures, the Avanza conference, and your social media handles. Anderson Develops, is that on everywhere?
Every single word. Anderson
Anderson-
develops in Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, you name it. I'm everywhere as
Everywhere.
Anderson develops.
Anderson Develops. All right, guys. Well, hey, man, I appreciate you
No,
coming
brother.
out
Thank
all
you
the
for the
way from
invite.
Florida.
Thank you for the invite.
So appreciate you dropping some bombs, some knowledge bombs, like Bradley said.
It's
So
good.
thank you so much again. This is the Making Feria podcast. Hopefully you learned something to make some feria. And I'm looking forward to going to Avanza. Take
Let's
care,
go.
guys.